Hi, I'm Dan from Custom Carts. One of the first options someone puts on their golf cart is usually a headlight and taillight package. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to do. We're installing a gas light kit on a Club Car Precedent. And what the first step we need to do is we need to remove the interior dash panel so we can run our wire harness. So our first step, what we have to do on the Club Car Precedent dash, there is a dimple where you need to locate and drill a 7/16 hole for your wiring harness. Before you remove your dash panel, you should drill this hole as the plastic's good and tight and you won't drill into your hand. I'm just going to drill that hole. Now there's 3 retainer bolts that hold the dash panel in. There's a Torx 15, which is at the top, and there's 2 Torx 30s, which are on either side. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove those fasteners and we'll be able to see where we have to hook our wiring harness into. Now that our panel is removed, what we need to do is run our wires down to our headlight assembly and hook our jumper wire into the main harness of the car. Now what I normally do as a trick, because this is a rectifier that controls power, I usually note your power wire in with your positive and your black wire in with your negative. I just note it on the side just with a standard pen. Now the light kit LGT 306 is for an electric car. If you have a gas one, you need a 306H, which is included with the harness. So now what I'm going to do is just hook up our wire assembly. So we can hook it into our car. This is the wiring harness with a factory installed Club Car harness. What we're going to do is hook the 306H, the harness piece, into this, which integrates our headlights and taillights into the car's wiring harness. So with that done, I can now disconnect and put my push-pull knob for my headlights and taillights into the dash. So now we're ready. We're going to push the push-pull knob for your on-off switch for your headlights and taillights. We're going to snap it in to the dash panel itself. I'm just going to do that now. Now that we've installed our on-off switch into the dash panel, we have to install the lock washer and the outer retainer nut onto the on-off switch itself. And now we can just install the knob. So now that everything is wired and ready to go under the dash, what we can do is we can run our wires down to the headlight assembly. We have hookups for our headlight, a horn, and we need to run wires for our rectifier. So what we're going to do, we're going to run 2 wires on the left and 1 wire on the right. Two wires through on that side. And there's a hole there. We'll run our rectifier wires through on that side. Now we can reinstall our dash panel itself. Now that we've reinstalled our dash panel, you just want to make sure and feel underneath that you haven't pinched or caught any wires when reinstalling it. So now that we've reinstalled everything and checked and made sure we haven't pinched any wires, we're just going to reinstall the dash using the original hardware. So I'm just going to do that now. Now that we're done underneath the dash, we've run all the wires, All we need to do now is remove our original front bumper and replace it. Our light kit uses an integrated bumper with our headlight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this bumper, and then I'll show you where you need to drill a hole to mount the rectifier. Tools you'll need is a 10 mil wrench and a 13 mil wrench. Now with the retaining hardware out, we can remove the front bumper. The bumper just slides around the channel, so all you have to do is just pull. Now what we have to do now is just make sure we route our wires properly and drill a 3/16 hole so we can mount our rectifier. So with the small bolt that is included in the kit, our 13/16 hole, we're going to put this on the inside of the subframe. So I'm just going to do that now. What we're going to do on this side, our two wires, our green and our black, we're going to plug in our rectifier. So I'm just going to push that on. So now we've got everything wired. What we can do now is install the new headlight and sub bumper assembly. Do that by just sliding it on the frame rails. So now we've got the bumper lined up. What you have to make sure is that your holes are aligned with your frame holes. So now you just take your bolt, slide it up through the bottom, and install your lock fastener. Take my 13 mil wrench, my 10 mil ratchet wrench, I can tighten that up. The last step to do before the front is done on this vehicle is to connect our power from our harness to the power on our light. All we're going to do is connect it. And before we can move to the rear, all I'm going to do is just zip tie our wires up and out of the way, so when you turn the wheel lock to lock, it doesn't grab any wires. And we're not installing a horn on this vehicle, so I'm just going to zip tie that out of the way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to install the 15 amp fuse block. There's two blue wires located by your solenoid on a club car precedent gas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to hook up your jumper wire and check the operation of your front headlights. Now that we've hooked up the fuse block, we're just going to double check the operation of the lights. So that's the install of the Club Car Precedent headlight kit. On a difficulty scale, it'd be a 3 out of 5, and basically any do-it-yourselfer can do it.